They say every city has a pulse. You don't hear it unless you're awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering which life finally broke your life in half. My name is Jack Mercer, private investigator, husband, or at least I used to be. This story isn't about solving a case. It's about what happens when love becomes evidence, and you're not sure which side of the table you're sitting on. The story. I don't believe in coincidences. Not after 20 years as a private detective. Not after the night Claire Mercer disappeared. Her toothbrush was still wet. That detail won't mean much to you yet, but it meant everything to me. People forget things when they leave in a hurry. Keys, wallets, shame. They don't forget brushing their teeth unless they plan to come back. Claire always planned. She was my wife. Past tense feels like betrayal. Present tense feels like lying under oath. She'd been missing 6 weeks when the police stamped the file with their favorite excuse: voluntary disappearance. Clean, bloodless, convenient. I made a living finding people who didn't want to be found. I knew when the system stopped caring, which meant I knew something else too. They were wrong, or hiding something. The last time I saw her, we fought over nothing. That's how real fights work. The dishes, the open window, the silence afterward. She said I was distant. I said she was secretive. We apologized like professionals. She kissed my cheek, not my lips. That was mistake number 1. Her phone surfaced 3 days later in a pawn shop off Route 9. Cash transaction. No ID. The clerk remembered her face, but not her name. Said she looked calm, almost relieved, like someone who finally dropped a heavy bag. The police said that meant she ran. I said it meant she erased herself. There's a difference. I followed the paper trail, bank accounts, credit cards, emails. Everything stopped cold the night she vanished. Everything except one detail. A safety deposit box I didn't know about. Box 317. Opened 2 weeks before she disappeared. Cleared the day after. The clerk remembered one thing. She wasn't alone, he said. Tall guy. Scar on his neck. Quiet type. My stomach sank. I knew that scar. Ethan Cole. Ex-cop. Internal affairs discharge. Dirty but careful. I'd crossed paths with him years ago on a case that started as adultery and ended with offshore accounts and 2 unexplained deaths. He smiled at me then, like a man who knew we'd meet again. I found him in a bar that smelled like whiskey and regret. She's alive, he said before I spoke. That kind of sentence changes gravity. Where? I asked. He laughed. Wrong question. He leaned in. She hired me first. That's when the story broke open. Claire didn't vanish. She planned. Cash withdrawals. Burner phones. Backup IDs. She didn't run. She executed an exit. From the city. From her life. From me. Or so it looked. The betrayal didn't hit all at once. It arrived slowly, like mold behind wallpaper. Late night she blamed on work. Calls taken on the balcony. Passwords changed just in case. Love letters she stopped writing. I called it peace. It wasn't. Ethan said she was scared. Said she believed someone was watching her, tracking her movements, learning her patterns. Who? I asked. He stared at me. You. I laughed, ugly and loud, the kind of laugh that keeps your ribs from cracking. She was wrong, I said. Was she? He replied. That question stuck, because love does strange things to logic. I had checked her phone before. I had followed her once or twice. Not because I didn't trust her, because I was afraid of losing her. Fear doesn't need permission. A week later, a letter arrived. Typed, no return address, no fingerprints. One sentence. If you want the truth, stop looking for her. Inside was a photo. Claire, sitting at a cafe I didn't recognize. Sunlight on her face. Smiling. Not the polite smile she used with strangers, but the one she saved for me. Across from her sat a man. Not Ethan. Not me. The cafe was in a coastal town near the border. The owner remembered her. Said she paid cash. Came every morning for a week. Always alone. Except once. The man again. The owner said they argued quietly. Intimately. Like lovers pretending not to know each other. Or enemies pretending they once did. I followed the trail to a rental house overlooking the water. Empty. Professionally cleaned. Too clean. In the bedroom closet. Something had been missed. A button from my coat. That's when the story stopped making sense. Unless it never did. Back home, I opened the box under the bed. The one I'd never touched because some things feel sacred until they aren't. Inside were copies of my old case files. Photos. Names. People I'd destroyed professionally. One name circled in red. Mine. At the bottom lay a handwritten note. I loved you. I just didn't trust you to let me go. The police called the next morning. A body had washed up near the border. Female. Height matched. Hair color close enough to lie about. Time in the water long enough to blur certainty. Dental records inconclusive. Salt and time had chewed through what science usually trusts. They said it gently, like you talk to a man who's already bleeding. They wanted me to identify her. I said no. I told them grief makes witnesses unreliable. I told them love ruins objectivity. I told them I'd spent my life teaching people not to trust what they want to see. What I didn't tell them was simpler. Some truths, once spoken aloud, stopped being yours. And I wasn't ready to give her up to a word like confirmed. They closed the file anyway. Different ink, different folder, same silence. Oyudiaro, here's what I know. Claire could be dead. She could be hiding. She could be watching me the same way I once watched her, learning my patterns, counting my mistakes, waiting for me to stop looking over my shoulder. Some nights I hear footsteps outside my apartment door. Slow, careful, familiar. I never open it. I never check the hallway camera. If I don't look, the moment stays possible. Sometimes I see her in crowds. A turn of the head, a flash of hair, a woman laughing the way Claire used to, like she already knew the ending. Sometimes I smell her perfume in places it doesn't belong. Elevators, hotel lobbies, once impossibly in my own car. I've checked the mirrors since then. I dream she never left. In those dreams, she's still angry, still distant, still alive. I wake up with my heart racing and my hands empty, angry at her for disappearing, and angry at myself for understanding why. Because the longer I sit with it, the uglier the question becomes. Was she running from danger, or was she running from me? I replay every moment now. Every look I held too long. Every question I asked twice. Every time I followed her when I should have trusted her. Love doesn't feel like a cage when you're the one holding the key. And that's the part one can't escape. I still don't know if I was trying to save her or keep her. The case is officially closed. Mine isn't. I keep her file where I can see it. I keep the door unlocked. I keep the light on in the hallway, just in case she decides to come back, or just in case she never left. Because somewhere out there, the truth is breathing quietly. And some nights, I'm not sure whether I'm the one hunting it or the one it's waiting for. The truth isn't lost. It's just waiting to see if I deserve it.